Hello and welcome to another tutorial from trainingps.com. Today I'm going to teach how to make a quick, simple logo looking like this using nothing much more than just layer styles. So let's get started. We're going to create a new document in Photoshop. I'm going to make it small for demo purposes here. And what I'm going to use is the ellipse tool to create my first basic shape. And once you have your first basic shape, we're going to go ahead and change the color of it. It really doesn't matter what color you're going to make it at this point, but we have our first shape. Now we're going to go ahead and duplicate this shape. Just drag it down to create a new layer, and it's going to make an identical shape, and we're just going to change color up on this one just so we can see. And we're going to do a free transform, Command T, and while holding the Alt or Option key and the Shift key, and while you drag, you're going to drag completely in the center. And we just want to drag this in a little bit, about like that, and hit return. Let's go ahead and make another copy of this, and we're going to do the same thing again, but first let's go ahead and change the color of it back to something lighter. Command T, Alt Shift, and we'll drag this in more here. And there you have. There we go. That's our first basic shape. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our layer styles on this innermost object. And we're going to choose a pattern overlay. And I already have one that I liked a lot. And it's kind of like a carbon looking thing. And I've selected it. It looks funky at this point, but we're going to go ahead and scale it down. Because it's tiled, you're not going to see the lines in it. So we're just going to get it to a point where it looks decent. Just like that. And we'll go ahead and just click OK for right now. We're going to do some more stuff to it later, but we can always go back. So we're going to go to the middle one now. Double click to bring up our layer style. And we're going to add a bevel and emboss. And we're going to leave all this alone up here, and what we're going to worry about right now is our gloss contour. And let's set it, let's look and see here, but I think we're going to set it to the ring. Let's try that first. And let's just adjust our light here so we get what we want. And let's increase the size. Like that. We'll soften it up just a little. Let's try it with the two little mountains there. Now we'll drag this around a little bit more and just see where we're going to get to. And what this is doing is where it's putting the light. You just kind of want to tweak that so you get it where you want it. That's starting to look nice right there. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a bit of a color overlay on this one. I'm going to pick an orange like I did for the other and click OK. And we'll go ahead and click, well, let's go ahead and add a drop shadow on this. Let's drag it. Now, here's a trick. Once you start to move this drop shadow, if you have use global light, it's going to affect all your layers. So we're going to turn that off so that it doesn't affect anything else. And we're just going to bring it down here. We'll go ahead and increase the size. It's going to soften it up a little bit, give it some dimension, and say OK. Now we go to our last layer here, the outermost circle. And we can add the drop shadow to that. We'll continue it on in that direction. Increase the size out a little bit. Bevel and emboss. And let's see which one we like here. And it's going to affect the same way as that other one, and we want it to do that on this one. So we're just going to increase the sizes here just to get the effect we want. That's looking pretty good. Maybe soften that up just a little. There you go. Another thing we could do at this point is go ahead and pick another color here, something a little bit. I think that's about what we had on the other one. Click that. Okay. We're going to go back to this innermost now. And let's add a bevel emboss to this, and let's try to chisel it hard and just see what we can get out of this. There we go. Really bring that down like that and say OK. Now what we want to do at this point is add our text. So we're going to hit the T on the keyboard, sorry, brings up our text tool, click somewhere in here, and we will just type in what we want it to say. And you're going to, it's going to be big, so let's go ahead and transform this down a little bit just to get it manageable. There we go. All right, we'll get it placed in there. Let's go ahead and open it back up. The lettering is touching and we don't want it to do that, so a shortcut to change the spacing, hold down the Alt or Option key, and with the left or right arrow just click and you can move this out until they're not touching anymore. There we go. So we have that, and we could at this point add a pattern overlay to this and play around and find something we like. I don't have a lot installed right now, but this will work fine, and we're just going to reduce it down about like that. So let's go with soft light overlay like that for now. What we're going to do is we're going to change the color of that text. Oops. And let's change that to one of these colors here. Let's just go with the red. All right. That gives us more of an idea of what we're dealing with here. Really start tweaking this. Try soft light, overlay. It's really playing around with these options in here. You can really get a lot of cool looking effects. And once you get this, we can go to a gradient overlay here. And what we're going to do here, instead of linear, we're going to try radial. We're going to turn off a line with the image so that when we resize this, it can actually get a lot bigger. We're going to reverse it. We're going to change the blend mode here on this. And let's see. Soft light, vivid light looks good. Go back to our pattern overlay. We can tweak this now to get it where we want it. Bring that down just a little. Now the cool thing about gradient overlay here is that the light can be moved around, so we can get the effect we want very simply, and if we have to change it, then we can change it without damaging anything. So we'll just leave that as it is for now. Alright, I'm going to click Alt or Option, hold down the Shift, and drag down a copy of this. And then we'll change the text to something else. Like that. We're going to go to free transform, and we're going to hold down Alt Shift, and it's going to reduce it straight to the middle here without distorting, so that we can get an idea of where we want to be with this. There we go. Because we did that, we're going to carry on with the same effects as the first layer on the second, and it's going to keep that same overall look. And we're getting close to what this one looked like here. I do believe we're just going to want to get rid of some of this red and go more of an orange. And it's really easy at this point to do that because you have everything done in your effects. Of course, it does help if you pick the right effect you want to work on. Click this. Let's get something a little more red there. There we go. Just get it till you get where you want. All right, if you're unhappy with your text size after you're finished, you can shift click on both of the text layers and transform them both at the same time to get that more manageable. If you want to alter either one, you just click on your effect, and we can take a look at what we're dealing with here. There's our lighting. We can tweak that. Pattern overlay. If we don't want a pattern overlay on it, we just click it, it goes away. It's not a big deal. We're going to go ahead and add a bevel and emboss to this though. And we're going to chisel this. And then we'd reduce the size down, just so it looks like it fits in there better. Just like that. And since we did that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to right click on our layer, and we're going to copy the layer style. Then we'll go to our other one, right click, and we're going to paste the layer style. That way we can keep that same effect right there. So there you have it. That's a pretty simple logo. It's clean, it's editable. It didn't take much time. At this point we can select all of the layers that are in there. We can right click and we can say convert to smart object. And what that does is we can now move this to any other document we want, and if we ever need to make changes, we can just double click on this and everything's still there. We can change color, we can change text, anything we need to change, and once you're finished, it updates back into the main. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and look for more at trainingps.com.